Duty, how's everybody doing?
Welcome back to another episode of Real Fine by me, Josh.
Woo! We're almost to double digits. I think this is episode number 9. If you're
Nine,
keeping
man.
up, if you're keeping up at home,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So there's no time like the present. Let's just get started. See what the wheels got for us.
hey, spin that wheel, T-Cat.
All right. I love you, man. And you see it in the quotations, it says Nick Cook. So I want to introduce our buddy Nick Cook. He's sitting in as special guest this week.
Buddy,
Hello, everyone.
So
turn the volume down. Nick's on.
Yeah, yeah.
this
Hide
episode's
your
going
kids, hide your wife. They're coming.
this episode's going to go off the rails real quick.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
so I love you, man. Paul Rudd classic. How about we watch that bad boy, come back and talk about it?
I
Can't
can't
wait.
wait to watch this movie for the first time.
All right.
Yo, it's Josh and T-Cat. Best believe that. Reeling in the truth. Stacking on the film stack. Popcorn popping. Critics keep talking. On this podcast, ain't no time for stalking. Real fine by me, we keeping it free. Josh and T-Cat, the hosts you wanna see. Movie reviews, jokes that ain't new. Keep it locked in, cause we know what to do. Lights, camera, action, movie main attraction. Critics we ain't, but we got that passion. Breaking down the scenes, funny like memes. Josh and T-Cat, man, living the dream.
All right. We're back at it.
Wearing the same clothes.
Yeah.
Slept in these.
I mean, this movie was only an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
A 2009 classic rated R, starring Paul Rudd and Jason Segel.
I can't
And
believe it was rated R.
And Rashida Jones. What do you mean? You
Man.
can't believe it was rated R?
Well, but by 2025 standards, I mean that's almost PG-13.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
Man, they
Yeah.
brought some firepower. I mean, probably when this movie was made, these people weren't as popular as they are now, but there's a lot of people in this movie, right? So you got Paul Rudd, the never aging Paul Rudd, Jason Segel,
I think he's a vampire.
who Paul Rudd.
Yeah,
Oh,
Paul
you
Rudd.
can see it a little bit in his face now. Was he on the
Yeah,
SNL 50
He was.
he
for just a
was.
minute? Yeah, you
Yeah.
can see just a little bit of it now. When did he get Sexiest Man Alive?
Like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had Rashad Jones, who played Zoe.
Rashida.
Man,
Rashida.
she's
Rashida.
at that moment when they filmed this, she was, I thought she was the most beautiful actress in Hollywood.
She's pretty.
And
Yeah.
Jamie Presley, John Favreau,
Oh, yeah.
Thomas Lennon, Lou Ferrigno, J.K. Simmons, Andy
Lou Ferrigno
Samberg.
behind me there.
Yep. Nick Kroll, Joe Friglo. I can't pronounce his name from Brooklyn Nine-Nine was in this
Yeah.
movie. There was a lot. So yeah,
Non-stop laughs.
had a budget of $40 million, but grossed 91. So they did really well with this one
Yeah, for a comedy especially.
for sure.
It's pretty good.
John Favreau was looking a lot better back then.
Well, he
I mean,
was
I know
hell,
it's
that was
been-
16 years ago.
I know it's
Yeah,
been 16
for sure.
years, but boy, he's starting to look like Jack Black now.
So this, Nick, I told Josh this a couple days ago. This is a romantic comedy movie. You know, it's like, but it's about two dudes being friends, right? So
Right.
every
A bromantic comedy.
yeah. So, Peter, Paul Rudd's character, has got no friends for whatever reason. He's been a girlfriend guy. They explain, and he goes through meeting people and doesn't like any of them, and meets Sydney, Jason Segel's character. They become real fast friends. Then they get in a fight. Then they come back together at the end. That's the same plot of every romantic comedy movie your wife or girlfriend's made you go see in the last 20 years, right? So
A little bit of conflict and resolution.
yeah.
This movie was a little progressive too for 2009 with Paul Rudd's character's brother being gay,
Yeah.
Andy Samberg.
It was
Like-
very funny. It was a very funny plot of the show when it came out.
Yeah, because his
Yeah.
dad's like, he's my best friend. He's
Yeah.
like,
J.K.
he's like,
Simmons
really?
is-
I made him an honorary homo last week.
yeah.
J.K. Simmons is sneaky funny in this movie.
Yeah, he's funny.
Where-
Yeah.
He's like,
I
Well, he
talked
tells
about my
him his-
best friend 3 times a week.
yeah,
And of course, your brother. Yeah, I made dad honorary homo last week. He's like, yeah. Do any of y'all? I think every group of like dude friends or whatever kind of has that friend that's kind of like, that does kind of fit the character that Paul Rudd portrays. That's kind of like to themselves. Like my younger brother's that dude. Like
Yeah, a
he's
little bit
always been
awkward.
like, well, like anytime he gets a girlfriend or whatever, he just disappears. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. like
which
Nick is right now.
yeah, just like he's doing right now.
Well,
I told him he better bring his A game. This is the big leagues.
well, Hank Mardukas. I'm trying to find his IMDb right now. The guy that played J.K. Simmons' other best friend, Hank Mardukas.
Martin Lucas.
He like played a undercover special ed guy it was another small role in another movie, and it might have been that Paul Rudd movie where Dinner for Schmucks. I don't know what movie it was, but
Well, this movie could be labeled as an Avengers movie. There's so many people from the MCU in it.
That
Right?
is true. That
You
is
got
very
Paul.
true.
You got Paul Rudd. You got John Favreau. J.K. Simmons. Who else?
Mhm.
There's a Lou
Ferrigno is
the
the
Hulk.
original Hulk.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a bunch of Marvel characters in this movie. Jason Segel's from one of my favorite shows, How I Met Your Mother. We've talked about that before on some of these episodes. It's probably what he's best known for is playing Marshall. And Rashad Jones,
Huh.
she's from The Office, right? Like most people probably know her from that.
And
Or
Quincy
Parks
Jones'
and Rec.
daughter.
Parks and Rec, I think she was on
oh,
that
really?
too, right?
Quincy Jones' daughter.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. She was also Zoe Deschanel's lesbian partner in the movie My Idiot Brother, starring Paul
Oh
Rudd.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a sneaky funny movie too.
Yeah.
Like,
It's great.
yeah.
So, John Hamburg directed this. He also directed Along Came Polly.
Hmm.
I think he does a great job kind of talking about the struggle for male bonding. I think as three dudes here, we're all friends. That could be tough when you don't know anybody. I've told my wife, I think I've told Nick this too, this friend group that we've kind of put together through these podcasts has been pretty nice for me since I moved to Franklin. I didn't know a single person. Met everybody through Nick. So I know the
What a
struggles of
wild
finding-
bunch he introduced you to.
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna
I
throw you in the
understand
lines, Dan.
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
you know, they also explore identity and growth of one's person, right? I think both Peter and Sydney grow as people throughout this movie. So I think he kind of covers that pretty good.
Yeah, and they also love the band Rush, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Every time I watch this movie, I start talking like Paul Rudd in the movie, like
Yeah.
totes my goats.
Oh,
Jobin.
this is
And
like
I-
Christie's like one of her like favorite like movies. Like
And
I'm
I
telling
start
you, like,
singing Rush songs for some reason because they're a band you don't remember that has such good songs
oh,
to
dude,
me.
they're so good.
Yeah.
Christy hates Rush. That's what I was about to get to, but she hates Rush, so that's kind of like take some points down for that one.
I told Melissa when we were watching this last night that there's a couple quotes from this movie that have followed me for the last 16
Yeah.
years. And Totes My Goats is one of them. And then whenever Rashida Jones first calls her friends to tell them she's engaged, the one friend goes, "Yeah, girl, you got to lock that tongue down." I've remembered that quote for
And then
the last 16
and
years.
it's like on speaker going through the car. He looks
Yeah.
over at her like, "What do you mean?
you told him
them
about the
that?"
hot tub? You told him
Yeah.
about the hot tub? Yeah.
I like when they're playing golf and the friend gets all mad and she leaves and Sydney goes, "No, wait, come back."
Yeah, I
Yes.
know.
like she's
Stop,
like,
please.
I gotta say these words, but I really want you to leave because
Don't
this is
go.
horrible.
Yeah.
He really brings Peter out of his shell,
For
like
sure.
when he first takes him back to his like house and they're chilling in the garage, he's like looking around, they're talking about like all the cool like Rush stuff and he like they're hitting it off. Then he looks over at this brown leather chair with a bunch of condoms and condom wrappers and
His
this
jerk
lotion,
station.
and he's like, "What do you got going on over here?" And he's like, "Oh, that's just my jerk station." He goes, "You jerk off with condoms?" He goes, "Yeah, it dulls the sensitivity." And he's like, "What?" But he's like, "Yeah, man, don't be so uptight about everything." He's like, "Who cares? Everybody does it."
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
just funny.
who I don't know. That's it to me. Who wants to dull the sensitivity? But hey, whatever.
It's
Uh,
just funny how like so like chill he is about it. Like this, like he didn't try to like hide. Like he's like bringing this dude to his house like for the very first time, and he doesn't care. He's like, "Yeah, it's no big deal, man." Like everybody does that.
so let's talk about his dog.
Oh, yeah.
Anwar Anwar Sadat. Apparently, this film got sued because they named the dog that. His
It
Anwar
was the
Sadat's
dot.
Yeah, Anwar Sadat's family sued them for using that name because they felt like it disparaged his name. They were making fun
Uh,
of him. They
oh
obviously didn't
man.
get anything out of it. It's still in the movie,
He's the
but
president of Egypt.
yeah, he was assassinated as the
Oh,
president of Egypt.
that's
Another fun fact
hilarious.
about that: Lou Ferrigno was with him the day he got assassinated.
Oh
Holy shit, dude.
snap!
That's cool. Wild.
So,
That's pretty
um,
sick.
That was a funny small little joke that kept popping up throughout the movie. That I just think those small little jokes that you keep
mhm.
calling back to. I think there's something about those that
I
everybody enjoys.
like his that dude Tevin that works in his real
Yeah.
estate office. He's
You
just
pissed on
always
my
popping
face.
up. Yeah, he's just always popping up, just uncomfortable.
Oh,
Big bush off at that old woman.
Yeah.
He's like huge bush. He's just not loud. Not loud. Go ahead.
so Jason
Oh,
Segel.
she's a squirter. Oh,
Yeah. He's like telling everybody in
Peter, I'm
there.
sending it to you.
Man, it's
Ja-
so funny.
Jason Segel, his first starring role was in a movie called Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which is one of my favorites. Paul Rudd pops up in that movie too as a cameo,
Yeah,
so
man, that movie's
they've
so
worked together
funny.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
Um,
They have like an infamous interview, not infamous, but like a really funny interview that from promoting this movie.
They
And
can't quit laughing.
yeah, their chemistry is just off the
They
charts,
cannot
dude.
quit
Yeah.
laughing.
They giggling the whole time.
so Rush was actually in this movie. They played a concert for him. It's probably in the movie, what, 4 minutes?
Yeah.
But the band did a whole hour set for the crew to
Oh, that's sick.
get that part of it. So they brought them in and the band performed for an hour just for
I wonder
them
if
to get
Neil
that.
Peart was still alive back then, their drummer, the one that was like really awesome. Because
I
he
honestly
died.
don't know.
That'd be maybe y'all can let us know in the comments.
Do y'all
Um,
remember the band OK Go? They had a
Yeah.
big hit song where they were on the video had them on
treadmills.
treadmills.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They were the band at the wedding. They don't play any music. They're just in the background, but that's who it was.
Okay.
Band OK Go.
Was there any reason why they were just there?
I'm assuming that they were going to have like a song on the soundtrack, but I think
Uh,
the soundtrack's pretty heavily influenced by Rush just because of
right.
the
Which is
movie.
pretty tight.
Yeah. So I think Paul Rudd kills it in this movie. He's so funny. The awkwardness makes me laugh. My wife hates awkward, funny stuff,
Yeah.
so she has a hard time watching this movie. She gets secondhand embarrassment real bad.
Secondhand embarrassment. That's what I was trying to think of.
But I think him and Jason's back and forth and their how they talk to each other is hilarious because that's just how dudes like act around each other. It's just dudes being dudes, right?
Yeah, man. You're
So
safe. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. So Josh, you know where we're at on time?
We're about halfway.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of Paul Rudd's lines in this movie were improvised. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. And it just shows his genius. The whole slap the bass thing was improvised.
What about
And
Jobin? Whenever he calls him Jobin.
yeah.
All
And
those words.
I even went as far to watch like the commentary
Oh, let's hear about
on the
that.
DVD. Yeah, and when the this has been since 2009. Like I watched it on the video on the DVD when it came out in 2009.
Went
So
Yeah.
to
it's
the
been a while.
family
But one of
video,
the
picked it
things,
up.
yeah, one of the things I remember was when they did the slap the bass scene. The next day, one of the camera guys like had a T-shirt maker at home, and he had a picture of Paul Rudd, and it just said "slap the bass." And like he made like 10 of them and handed them out. Like that was a huge joke on the set for the whole movie was slap the bass.
No, it's still
I
like a running joke. Or the Bears.
Yeah,
I
Whenever he
would
like, yeah.
I would buy a slap the bass shirt now
Oh,
Yeah.
we
for
could-
sure, or
Yeah.
a totes my
bumper
goats.
sticker.
Totes
Yeah.
my goats.
It seems like right when TikTok kind of popped off in 2020, the totes my goats thing came back around, and there were people were making like videos saying totes my goats and stuff like that, and I was like, man, I've been saying that for so long because of this movie.
Well, I want to share. I had put up this old school Lou Ferrigno. The reason I did, my dad, even when I was younger, he loved the Incredible Hulk, but only the Lou Ferrigno. And whenever the one come out with like Edward Norton, not
Mhm.
the what's his name, Mark Ruffalo,
Right.
but that
Edward
Hulk that
Norton.
everybody forgets about. In between,
Yes.
it was played by Edward Norton, and I remember that come out. My dad was like, "Man, fuck that movie. I'm never going to go see that movie. He's not the Hulk. Lou Ferrigno's the Hulk." Got super like overly like it must just hit a chord with him. I guess like it just ruined his childhood trying to think about somebody else playing the Hulk.
So I got a couple
Edward
questions.
Norton was the only good Hulk there ever was.
He was a
I don't
pretty
know.
good
I
one.
like Mark Ruffalo's
Yeah, yeah, he's
early
good. Yeah,
renditions.
I'm just not a big Hulk
No,
fan.
yeah, he doesn't translate to movies very well.
I like
Do
Iron
we
Man.
do we think that in 2009 Lou Ferrigno could really afford that house?
No, not now. I
No,
mean, how
I
many?
don't even think he could then.
I mean, I understand why he was selling it for sure.
Yeah.
Well, like, wasn't he like Mr. like Olympia or something before? Like, he was like Arnold Schwarzenegger's competition, like back in
Yeah,
the day.
I thought he was like in the world's strongest man
Yeah, something
competition.
like
They
that.
did
Like,
some of
that's
those competitions too, but you can't be a bodybuilder and be the world's strongest man.
no, you don't have the muscles, so the strength for it, rather.
Yeah.
Got the muscles, just not that farm boy strength.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Lou Ferrigno was still pretty tall. I mean, he was probably 6 foot, but those boys that win that shit, I mean, they're 6'9".
They're like the mountain.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I that kind of pulls me out. I just don't feel like even in 2009 that he had enough money to be able to afford that house.
Right.
Which, and
Maybe that's
we
why
could
he was
talk about
selling it.
we could talk about it. Peter's billboards and how crazy those were. They show one of Peter going with his hands behind his head like this. That was actually pulled from Paul Rudd's cover on the Rolling Stones.
Oh yeah.
So if you look at that, you can see the resemblance of that on there.
As of right now, Lou Ferrigno has a net worth of 12 million.
Oh well, maybe so.
He's been making that
Maybe so.
Comic-Con money.
That house probably burned down during the LA wildfires.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Also, did you the part of Sydney
Yeah.
was written originally for Owen Wilson.
I could see him playing that role.
Yeah.
for
He was
sure.
big in 2009. That was like
Yeah.
after Wedding Crashers and You, Me, and Dupree and all those
Oh, yeah.
movies.
All right, so
Another Ferrigno fact, real quick. In 1977, for some reason, AI suggested I ask how much Lou Ferrigno bench pressed. In 1977, his personal best was 560-pound bench
Jeez, that's crazy.
wow.
press. Yeah.
How much
Well,
you
Nick,
bench? How much you weigh?
Nick, I know you watch every episode of Real Fine by Me religiously as soon as it comes out. So you know at the end of it, we like to share Google reviews, right? So I'm going to share a couple of them. They're on both ends of the spectrum for this movie. All right.
Okay.
What a gem. I watched it for the love of Paul Rudd, but I'm glad I did because this is such a wholesome flick. When people talk about male friendship, they usually go on about all the typical masculine masculine things guys do together, which more or less just reaches as far as a young high school, college friendship goes. This goes beyond that. This shows the true healthy platonic male friendship and its importance in everyone's life in a truly beautiful and entertaining way, and how complex adult friendships are compared to ones we have when we're young, and how hard it is to make friends outside of work when we're older. It also emphasized how important it is to have friends outside of a romantic relationship and how those two kinds of relationships are equally essential part of one's life. Truly an amazing watch. 5 stars. So
All
this
those things are true. I know I
yeah,
appreciate y'all.
this
That's for sure.
You
this
don't act
lady
like it, but that's fine.
Whatever, dude.
this lady
I just
loved
act
it.
like me.
But we have the other end of the scale. The moment I saw that you were rude enough to disrespect a whole nation by naming a dog after a former president and even saying it out loud, I stopped the movie. Really, what is the necessity of doing that? I didn't even have a role. It didn't even have a role in the story. This is how you look at all other nations, disrespecting and wildly racist. Shame on you and whoever took part in this disgusting act. Shame on you. 1 star. This
I
I
was
bet
wouldn't
that
made.
say
I
wildly
got
racist is pretty
I
strong.
yeah. Well, I got two things for this guy whose name I can't pronounce. Uh, this was a year ago, so he just now found this movie. And how does he know that the dog wasn't part of the plot if he stopped it as soon as it was introduced?
yeah.
Right. He's lying.
I feel like he watched the whole movie and was mad about it.
Yeah.
Just my turn.
It probably just now come out wherever third world country he come from.
I bet this guy didn't have very many close friends.
Yeah. I bet he's
It's
not ever
hard to
going to
love a
see
guy like
this.
that. Yeah.
He might see this in 14 years as well, whenever it
Yeah.
comes
Maybe
out there.
maybe he's looking for movie reviews and
Yeah,
he maybe gets
right.
called
He
up.
said, "Oh, I'm so mad about this movie."
All right, Nick. I know you're like I said, you're an avid fan. We have a rating system here. Um, 0 to 5. We're gonna let you go first because you're the new guy on the block. You're the guest host. Um, where would you put this at?
Man, I have loved this movie since day one. Watched it 3 times in a row in 2009. The first night that I watched it twice, and then I watched it again the next morning. I'm giving I Love You Man a fantastic Wash Pros 4.8.
4.8.
That's
That
Yes.
the
just to let
highest
you know,
score.
we've had The Departed, we've had Wolf of Wall
Gay.
Street. The Departed won the best movie of the year it
Yeah.
came out. Um,
A
and
bunch of other awards.
that is the highest score any film has gotten on the
I
Real
think the
Fine
highest
Line.
score we have so far is a 4.3, right? Which is The Departed.
Yeah, The
Yeah,
Departed.
so
Well,
it's
I'm an optimistic,
I
you
will
know.
say I do love all this shameless advertising you're doing here on The Real Fine by Me.
What
I
are you
like the
talking about?
hat and the shirt. Look
Product
at you.
placement.
You look like you're about to go be in the pit crew at NASCAR for the Wash Pro number 69 car.
Yeah, man, that's what I need. I need a dirt track racing
That'd
team.
be sick, dude.
Yeah.
That'd
I'll
be
drive.
sick. Then you could go out there and wash, like go out there, like hose it down when you get
Yeah.
done. Like say, look how
Pit
clean
crew.
ours is.
Pit crew.
Yeah, that's
All right, Josh, your turn. Well, he picked a 4.8, which
4.8.
is real fine by me on our scale.
That's real fine by me.
That's daggum close to perfect.
Yep.
Yep.
That's about as
All right,
high as you
Josh,
can
what you
get.
got, buddy?
I'm going to give it a 3.1 because it checks all the boxes for a comedy. It's a great movie. I don't know if maybe because I've seen it so many times that it's just, some of it's kind of wearing on me, but it's just a solid, if you want something to kind of like mindlessly or a good feel-good movie, throw it in. You don't have to really necessarily pay attention to it to enjoy it. It can just be, on and you can catch different parts that'll keep you entertained throughout the movie. So
Yeah. So that's
3.1,
3.1, mostly fine by me.
mostly fine by me.
Mostly fine by me.
Middle of the road, good comedy.
I am high on this movie. This is one of my favorites to watch. So when you hear my score, you take it as uh, adjusted for the fact that I really love this movie. So I love everything about it. I think it's funny, it's quotable, it sticks in your head. It really, I can draw parallels in my own life with it. All those things are great. Do I think it's Oscar nominated best movie? No, it is not that. But I love it. It's a 4.2 for me, and that's real fine by me. It's high, but it's not the best movie ever made. So, but I put it up there real high for me. Obviously, these are our own opinions, and I know most people would probably pick it right where you picked it, Josh. But for me, it's real high. So,
Hey, that's a review, guys. Good movie, good times. I enjoyed
Nick,
it.
Good friends.
We
yeah,
want to
Nick,
thank
we're-
Nick Cook for coming
yeah, you
on
got anything
today.
you need to plug? Give you some time for our dozens
maybe
of
just
listeners.
maybe just some life support, and stuff like that. Maybe plug that life support back in. Go get tested for sleep apnea if you're having trouble sleeping.
Get your blood pressure
Um,
checked.
yeah.
We ain't getting no younger. I say most of our
Yeah.
audience is our age.
Yeah.
We're
If
falling
And,
apart.
If you're watching this and you don't know who Nick Cook is, he's a co-host of the wildly popular Fine by Me podcast
Wow.
here on YouTube. Also
Every
on
Thursday.
all your audio channels. You can see that every Thursday. Josh is also on that program, and every now and then you'll see myself stepping in to do some fill-in work.
He's the
Maybe.
anchor of the ship.
Yeah. So we're still looking for options. Put in the comments movies you want us to
Yeah.
watch. Tell us where you put I love you, man. Tell us you hate us. Be like, Travis, you wore glasses this week. They look stupid. All your
That's what you
hats
think
are
about
dumb.
Nick. That's what you think
Oh,
about Nick.
Yeah.
Should
Tell
we
us
have
what
him
you
back?
think.
Hey, T-Cat, your hats are stupid. Quit wearing different ones every
What
week.
is that hat? Let me see. Looking down there. I like that hat. It's a good looking hat.
This is a 40th anniversary Hendrix hat.
I like it. I like it.
So,
Well, thanks again, Nick. We loved having you on. Appreciate you, brother.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you did. And if you don't know who I am, get out of the rock you're living under, because we are mainstreaming out here, baby. We're ready to go to the moon.
All right.
All right.
Well,
We'll leave it at that.
that's
Thank
a
you,
review.
guys.
Put that salute down.